Hello and welcome to my living room. I normally don't film in here, but I thought I would give it a try. I think, well, for multiple reasons. For one, it might be more comfortable for me to actually be sitting on the ground versus in that chair that I normally use. So that chair is normally, I'm like I'm giving treatment. I'm an esthetician, so that's like my office / treatment room. So I'm normally like kind of like hunched over. And so I don't have like my weight back on the chair, and that chair is not like a comfy, cozy chair to like sit in. So I'm always like readjusting, and you can like always like see me readjusting, and yeah, it's actually way more comfortable on the ground in my living room. And for two, that room that I normally film in is where I normally like to work. It's like my office. So I think that's why I kept going there to film, like all my little, it's like, I don't know, I'm a creature of habit. So I'm like going in there to film or work on stuff. But that room is like right, you have to like pass it from my front door. And I get like so freaked out when people like walk by, or if they're like walking up to my door, or like deliveries, or like whatever. I like freeze, and I'm like, oh my god, hopefully they don't see me. This is a lot safer. I'm in my living room. Nobody comes to this part of like my like this window. Nobody's like walking up to it, and if they did, that would be really weird. This is all like my front yard, and like nobody's gonna be like walking this way. Over there, it's like a walkway. It's a cement walkway, so people are like walking there, and I'm like, ugh. So this is better, I think. And yeah, I feel like I'm already more comfortable. Okay, enough about that. So I wanted to make a video. I had like a little, I don't know, aha moment. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. So essentially, what I was not even intentionally or meaning to ponder on, but I kind of stumbled upon it when I was meditating is, there's always like this, there's like two people in the manifesting community. There's like the people that are like, you have to drop your desire in order to get it. And then there's the people that are like, no, you have to like, you don't have to drop it. You can just keep it and focus on it until it comes. And I never really knew how I felt about it, because dropping it feels kind of like, ooh, like what if the universe forgets, or I don't know, something like if I'm not putting my energy on it, like it's not going to, grow into a reality. And I can totally see how people sometimes will say like, well, you have to not care. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks, because sometimes when you don't care about things, that's when they manifest, which is so annoying. But I've also had things like I cared a lot about, and I did not like give up the desire or drop it, and it still happened. And I was like super anxious about it. Even to the point when it happened, I was shaking, which is so funny, because you're supposed to, essentially, like, it should be so natural that it's not even a big deal, which I've also had that experience with manifesting. Like, it happens and I'm like, that would have happened anyway. It was so natural. It was so whatever. And then I've also had it where it manifests and I'm literally shaking because I can't believe that it's happening still, because I was so like anxious about it. You know what I mean? So there's definitely not a one size fits all, and there's definitely not like, and I really want to know, like, what the fuck are the actual rules of manifesting? Because I've seen so many things manifest from different origins, you know, different techniques, different mindsets, different versions of whatever. Yeah, and it's so, yeah, I'm just like a nosy person. I want to know everything. And I will like harass God, like in my meditations. I'm like, just tell me the truth already. Because I really, I want to know. Sorry, this is so good. If you guys have a Trader Joe's next to you, I thought this was going to taste so fucking gross because it has apple cider vinegar in it. You know what this tastes like? Oh, it's so good. When I was a kid, we would have like it was like the Crystal Geyser spring. I don't know. It was like it was like a carbonated berry drink. And that shit had like 50 grams of sugar in it. This 35 calories for the whole can. It's so good. Anyways, the other flavors are okay, but this one is like, elderberry pomegranate. It just tastes like berries. Like, it's so good. Anyway. I digress. It's so good though. Like it makes you pucker. It's so good. So yeah, I'm always trying to get to the root. I want to know the truth. I want to know the answers. And you know what's so funny is as soon as I said I want to get to the truth, this is what comes to mind. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve had the freedom to have a great life. They could do whatever they wanted. And you know what fucked them up? Eating from the tree of knowledge. And it's so funny because us as humans and our society, so, you know, maybe we're primed this way and also maybe we're just, it's in our nature, you know, it could be both. But we just want logic and we just want to know the answers and we just want to know absolutes so bad. And we just want to know the truth. And it's so funny because that's what fucked us up for humanity. It's what fucked humanity up is eating from the tree of knowledge. And they said that's when like sin entered. But to me, I'm like, I wonder if that's why we have a hard time manifesting now, because we had to have knowledge. Whereas before, everything could have been more in a, not like a solid, like, you know how they talk about that experiment with the molecules and they're like watching them, like the particles go from a wave to a solid depending on who's observing it, depending on what the observer's beliefs about it were. It's basically where like the whole law of assumption like originated from. And it's funny, I wonder, like, was our universe like one big wave, meaning not everything was solid, which we know, like, science has, like, none of that, like, my couch isn't solid, like, I'm not solid, but we interpret it that way. And it's really hard for our logical minds to, like, get around it. In fact, it's pretty crazy that we even figured that out. But I wonder, like, was it way more, I guess, normal for things to not be in absolutes and kind of be in this wave? I'm saying that as an example, like in my head, like a wave is like more movement, more tangible. And so you can like mold it into whatever you want. Whereas a solid is like in its last state of creation, it's like finished. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I wonder if like our whole world was set up like instant manifestation, like we can take, you know, like things were not in their solid state and we knew it and we could kind of go for it. And then when she ate off of the tree, it had to solidify everything and make things have absolutes. We had to have knowledge, like we had to have logic. And I feel like it kind of, you know, it kind of like solidified everything. It kind of like fucked us over. That's my That's my theory on it. But, you know, yeah, it's funny. Like, I almost wonder if knowledge is a curse, and that wasn't what we were. And the thirst for knowledge, like if that's our curse, because we just want to know things so badly instead of creating things. If our original intent on earth was to oh, I lost my thought because I got hot and I can't remember if I turned my AC on or not. Hopefully it kicks back on here in a second. I won't use a blanket anymore. Damn, I lost my train of thought, and it was like a really good one. But it's essentially like us, like if our original, humans originally were just meant to like create, because we were created in the image of our creator who created. So like our whole purpose was just to create and be creative and use that part of our brain. Like it was more maybe the creative side of our brain was like the one that had priority and was like the primary. Whereas now, like after the fall of man, like everything has to be like, there has to be absolutes and truths, and everything has to be solid, and everything has to be so dense. And we like are cursed with this like craving to know the truth about everything. But really, when you're manifesting, the truth is whatever you choose it to be, because you can literally get transported to another reality where X, Y, and Z did or didn't happen, whereas in another reality it did. So the truth is not an absolute. The truth is whatever you decide it to be. That freaks me out sometimes, and I think that we have such a hard time with it because we're cursed, because we ate off the tree of knowledge, and so now it's just like so much harder for us to stay in the creative side of our mind. Like we're like cursed to like lead with logic. And yeah, if you've ever manifested, you know there's nothing logical about it. The craziest shit will happen and you're like, what? Oh, my AC's on. So that means that, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that this little guy was, so that means that maybe in another reality I didn't turn it on. But then I was like, no, it's on. So then I shifted, because the truth and logic is, it's not an absolute. Yeah, that's a good one. I like what just happened there, because it helps us like let go of some of our nature. But just because something comes natural to us doesn't mean it's a good thing. Like us being cursed, like in the Bible it says like, well, now your childbirth is going to be painful. Just because that's like a natural occurrence for women now doesn't mean like that it's a good thing or original. It wasn't the original, blueprint for humanity. Like we were actually supposed to just be like, la la la, have a baby. If you're a woman and you're fascinated by this stuff, read books on like hypnobirths and stuff. I knew a woman personally who said her childbirth was so amazing. It felt so good. She couldn't stop laughing, and that's how the baby came out. She was just in a state of bliss. And sometimes I think, well, maybe that's how we were supposed to be. And then fucking Eve like fucked it all up for us. But I do think, like it says in the Bible, like Jesus came to like cover the sins of humanity. So like we're covered, like the fall of man, like it doesn't have to be our destiny. Like we can overcome it. So if we were meant to live out of the creative, non-logical side of our brain, where we're manifesting and our words are creating, and our thoughts are creating, and our assumptions are creating, and we're just in this like beautiful artistic communion with God where we're just creating. If that was the original intent, like, and it says in the Bible, like, Jesus came to like save us from that, like, that's an option for you. Like, that's still available to you. But I will say, I think it's a curse to want to know everything. I have it. All I want is to just know everything, good and bad. And they even talk about that, like, you know, when in the manifesting world, like, don't go searching for pain. Don't go mining for pain. You know, like, if you're like have an SP and you're like, I wonder what he's doing, and you like check his social media and you're breaking your own fucking heart. Well, now you're in that reality. It's going to be so much harder for you to undo that truth and go find another reality where that's not the truth, because of our curse of humanity to like, well, we saw it, it must be true. Well, we heard it with our own eyes, it must be true. But you guys, this is a hologram. Like, you dream every single night. It feels so real. And you wake up and you're like, I've like woken up from dreams like screaming. I've been crying. I've laughed my way waking up from a dream. I've woken up dead serious. I've woken up in love with a man. He was like a faceless man in my dream. I woke up so in love with him. He was the love of my life. It's so funny. But I mean, it's so real. And you wake up and it was fake. You were in a different dimension. So yeah, it's like a good way to think about like our thirst for knowledge, and even like our society pushes it, right? Like, remember when we were little and we would be like in class and they would make us listen to, it wasn't the Magic School Bus, it was like something, I can't remember, and it literally was like, the song is in my head, and knowledge is power. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember all the words. Anyways, and they like push, I mean, look at our education system. You're indoctrinated as a kid, like school, learn, quizzing, tests. You better know what is what, and how dare you not know, like, blah, blah, blah. And then also like the teaching of history. You're like, can we forget about some of the bad things that happened so we quit playing those cycles out, just like us as a human, like just as me as a human, how I need to forget maybe some bad things that happened to me as a kid so I can have a better, you know, life. Like, maybe let's stop. And I get it, like, it is like ingrained in us. It's a fucking curse. Like, we want to know. I want to know everything. But maybe it's not for our highest and best and most evolved good to know everything that played out in our, let's say, the US's history. It's really dark. There's like a lot of, and it's fascinating. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love a good documentary, and I think it's fascinating. And listen, like, I don't trust the government. like I love a good research binge. I love a good rabbit hole. Oh my God. But you know what that did to me? It made me really skeptical. It made me really sad. It made me really fearful and untrustworthy. And like, how are you gonna manifest if you're always in a state of like a fear mind state? Like, honestly, the opposite of love is not hate. I think the opposite of love is fear. So I think you kind of, the best way to manifest is being in a state of love. So yeah, as great as some of these documentaries are, or you just take it with a grain of salt, like you just know, like, okay, this was like our world's history, or our even our country's history, but like, I can always shift to a different paradigm where maybe we weren't so fucked up and like it wasn't so evil and like money hungry and like, oh, the dark, and it's like, anyways, see, here I am, like, I'm getting sucked back into it. But it is so fascinating, like, oh my God. And it's like a sickness, like, me sitting here, like, I love talking about like conspiracy theories, and I love like you know, like just like the hidden mysteries of the world. I'm a Scorpio. Like, I'm ruled by the underworld. I want to know all the hidden shit. I want to know like all the, like, I want to know everything there is to know. And I think maybe that's like my cross to bear, to like overcome and like rise above it, and like we're all uniquely made in with our own personalities and our own whatever. Like I'm a Scorpio, and there's good characteristics about me. Can't think of any right now. Just kidding. There are, but like I'm a psycho. Like I'm super paranoid. I'm super cautious. I'm you know, I'm really intuitive. Like whatever. So we're giving these set of tools. Some are like good, and maybe some are like bad, and like that's our job here on earth, just to like overcome it and get back to our creator's image, which is divine and love and free, and there's no restriction, and you're in your creative mind. You're not in your, it's almost like your God mind and like your man mind. Your man mind wants like logic, linear time, like and God's like, no, fuck it. We can like have whatever we want. We can like time jump right now. But honestly, like, think that is the most fun. Like, if you guys have ever quantum jumped, oh my God, that's so much more fun than living out time linearly. Like, quantum jumping is like, I don't know. It's all of our untapped potential as humans. Like, I feel like we could live so much like cooler. Like, we could be like superheroes. Like, we could like see through walls and, you know, like remote view and all this cool shit. And like, we're just like, nope, wait, we gotta make sure everything's done by the book and like it makes sense. And if I didn't see it with my own two eyes, and gotta see it to believe it, and all this shit. But like the other side of it's like, no, like I'm a creator. I'm made in the image of God who created me, and I gotta believe it to see it, you know. So those are, it's like our internal beasts, like battling it out, like the good and the bad. That was a tangent. Was that sinking? You guys, this is so good. I can't even handle it. But the pucker, oh my God, I need real water now. Okay. Now that I've had my 50 drinks, let me get to the point of why I wanted to make this video, which, by the way, I still think what I just said is a great point also. I love it when like you get to see the Bible in a new way. It wasn't like, oh, like Eve ate this and now she's cursed. It's like, knowledge is the curse. Damn. Anyways, okay. So when it comes to, right, what I was saying. People that say you have to drop it and not care about your manifestation in order to experience it. And then there's people that are like, no, that's not true. You can do both. You can do both. And that's probably where my tangent came from. Like, nothing is solid. Like, we can live in a world of non-absolutes and in a world of options where like dropping it works, not dropping it works, whatever. Using emotion works, not using emotion works. Like, you know, all these things that people are constantly talking about, like, you know, view it as a wave, not a solid. Hopefully that analogy works, or you guys get that. But my point is, when we are manifesting, no matter how it comes about, we all know it's not us in our human form that's doing it. There's no fucking way me, Madison, this person can like make things happen in the way that manifesting is. Can I make things happen in the 3D with like my pursuit and like my man, like how I was talking about before, like the logical part of our brain is like the man human part of our brain, and then like the creative side of our brain is like the God side of our brain. Like me and my humanness, can I make things happen in the 3D? Yeah, I can like like brunt force, determination, do this, do that. Yeah, I can do that. I can manipulate, I can fight, I can argue, I can just be super vigilant. I can do all that stuff. And yeah, like I can get results from it. But you know what I've noticed? I was having a conversation with my uncle today, maybe like not even an hour ago. He was asking me what I was gonna do. My lease is up here in 2 months. And the human side of me so badly wants to know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I wanna know where I'm moving to, what town, what house, what's coming with me, what should I be selling, what should I be packing, what should I want it all done now. And my uncle was asking me, what are you doing? And he's cool. Like, I feel like he's a spiritual person, but he's also super logical. He's a man. First of all, men are always really logical. And he's an accountant. So he's all about that linear life. He likes, he's a very structured man. He wakes up at 4 a.m., he eats the same food every morning, or every day. Same breakfast, same lunch, same dinner, same weekend, like ritual, same everything. Goes to the gym before it, like that life I crave. My human side of me craves that. How great does that sound? To never be caught off guard. You know everything that's about to happen. Fuck, that sounds so nice. It also sounds boring, and I've lived like that, and I get super bored. It works for him though. It works for him. So anyways, he's like, Madison, what are you gonna do? And I got teary-eyed, like I feel like I'm gonna be now. Because it's not a fucking video if I don't tear up. And I said, I don't know. Because I don't know. Obviously, it's stressful to not know what's happening. But I said, I'm old enough to know anytime I've ever tried to. This is just like my ego crying because it wants control so bad. And it's like triggering all the things in me that I didn't have control over when I was younger. And I know that. And I'm aware of that. Anyway, I said, you know, I'm old enough to know that anytime I've ever had an idea and made a plan to execute it and made a big life choice and played that plan out, I know for whatever reason, it's always been terrible. It's always blown up in my face. And I also know all of my biggest blessings all of the happiest moments or experiences or things in my life, relationships, jobs, housing, even car, like whatever, like you name it, right? Like even my health, they fell into my lap, and I had no there was no pursuit. There was no pursuit of it. I wasn't even in the awareness of some of those things. And I sure as hell wasn't like executing some plan to get what I want. All of my best things. And I know that some people are different. Some people are gonna like execute their plans and become successful. That's why there's doctors. That's why I'm not one, you know? I think everybody, like I said, has a certain skill set that they were sent here with, and a certain personality, and a certain, I don't know what you'd want to call it. I just know that I can't be somebody who gets to pick what I want and pursue it and take action. I cannot take action on anything. When I do, it blows up in my face, and it's really frustrating because, hello, there's things like I want to take action on. And he said, and I thought he was gonna have like the logical side of him come forward and, well, that's why, no. But he didn't. This emotion is just me appreciating that I have him in my life. Having a family member who understands you and supports you and loves you is such a blessing. Oh, why am I always crying on this fucking app? He said, Madison, do you know what that's called? And I thought he was going to say like irresponsibility or whatever. And he said that there's a saying for that. He said, have you ever heard when you make a plan, God laughs? And I'm like, yeah, that's my whole life. And so all of like my best things, all of my biggest accomplishments, I wish I could say all of my success and accomplishments came from hard work and dedication and came from the physical 3D me pursuing it. It wasn't. Anything I've ever done was sheer luck. And I know I'm a talented person. I know I'm a smart person. I know all that. But that's, for whatever reason, that's not what I'm here to like prove or experience. I'm here to experience like good luck and like happenstance and chance and the unexpected. And that really kills my flesh. The human side of me, it really kills. But the spirit side of me, the soul, the God part of my brain, the creative part of my mind, all of that is like delighted. And it's so funny because, yeah, you just have to like let it all go. And so, I told him, I'm just waiting for something to fall in my lap. essentially, because I know if I choose, oh, I want to live in this town and I'm going to go fill out these applications for housing or get in touch with this person, I'm going to put so much energy into something and it's not going to work. It'll blow up in my face. When I effort is when things go shitty. So all that to say, when we're manifesting, I know it's not me. It's not me, Madison, going out and making shit happen. Me, Madison, going out and making shit happen fucks shit up. She ruins everything. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about, inspired action, because again, when I'm doing that, when I'm taking inspired action, I don't know I'm taking inspired action, like in this example of my housing. If I go to a party and I meet somebody and then this happens and then I take a vacation and then I meet this person and then I realize this and then how in the fuck would I ever know that house is what's going to get me to my next house or next town that I live in or next life experience? So I have to just live my life, and I can't plan. I can't manipulate the 3D. I can't effort. I can plan, right? Like I know I'm going to move in 2 months. I can like do little things, right? I can go get boxes. I can start selling things that I don't need. I can do things. But if I want to end up in the right place, it's not going to be because of me and my brilliant logic and executing a list and doing all this. It's not. And that's just personal for me. Maybe that's not every person here. Maybe some people thrive with all that. I wish I did, but I don't. And so I know that however I get to the places that I want to be, right? However I get the relationship I want, the house I want, the income I want, the whatever. It's not flesh Madison. It's God. And people like to say, well, we are God or whatever. Listen, if I'm God and I have amnesia, that's fine. I don't care. Right now, I'm not doing it. I'm not in that place. It's something outside of me as far as I'm concerned right now. If you are somebody who believes that you are God and you are the one doing everything, that's fine. But even logically, it's not you doing it. It's the power, the source that is attached to you. I think it's almost semantics, like we're almost saying the same thing. Either way, me as a human, I'm not making shit happen. I am not defying logic and I am not creating miracles. I mean, I am, because it's my experience and it's because of what I'm putting out there, my desires, but it's its own entity, in my opinion. It's just easier for me to think of it that way. It's its own entity. And that entity is not logical at all. That guy is a psycho in the best way. That guy makes shit happen. And there's so much poetic justice in how things are executed, and it's just always chef's kiss, right? We've all lived through a miracle and you're just jaw on the ground. And so because of that, because I know it's not me, it's God responding to my request, or however you want to think about it. It takes all the pressure off of me to do anything. And when I came to that realization, like truly, truly, truly got that, that is when I could drop it really easily. And sometimes it'll come back up and, you know, whatever. But for the most part, I just know that it's not me. It's because of me. It's for me. It's inspired by me. But my little brain, my little human brain doesn't have to worry. My little human brain is, honestly, I think like the more I'm not worried about anything is the better off I am. And the more distracted I am and like the more like frivolous and fun and ridiculous and just happy is typically when the most is going on behind the scenes. And I don't know, like, it's like, maybe it's because I'm not bugging God. I'm like, why is this happening? When is this happening? What's happening? I need to see it. I need to see it. Like, maybe I just left him alone long enough that he can go get it done. And I'm off like, la 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 la. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm shopping. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm going on vacation. Even work is a great distraction for me. I'm like, when I'm at work, I'm like engulfed, you know? And so really just the more like oblivious, you know, I've been called a ditz my whole life, but look what it got me. I mean, I don't have to worry about anything. And when I worry is when everything goes so bad. I make the worst decisions and I'm like miserable and I'm like in my own head and it's just like, you know? So, you know, be a ditz. or not. That's why they say like ignorance is bliss. You know, it's true. Because if ignorance is bliss, the opposite, right? Like the fall of man was based on eating from the tree of knowledge. So maybe like knowing everything is exactly the opposite of what we should be doing. And maybe it's because we already do know everything and it's up for us to decide what's true for us and what's not. We pick it up. Do I want this to be true? No, put it back down. Do I want this to be true? Yeah, sure, I'll keep this. And then instead, you know, like I said, in the Garden of Eden, they made everything an absolute. And now we're like having to wrestle with that. Ugh. And wouldn't it be like such a more fun life anyways, living, like being in a creative state and just like living in miracles and kind of everything's like la 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 and like kind of like you are blissfully unaware and you kind of just living in a lucid dream, being like dense and like being so obsessed with the truth is like, you know, miserable. Just me, like all I want to know is the truth about everything. But maybe the original design was we already know all the truth because we create it. So whatever I say goes. So life is going to be easy, because I say so, life's going to be easy. If I'm trying to think of like things that like sayings in life that it almost programs us, like life's hard, or life sucks, then you die. I remember. That's so sad. I can, I don't know, sleep when I'm dead. It's just all these really sad sayings that kind of, it's like, what's the point of being here if you're just going to be miserable and then die? So, if you want to choose why you're here, if you want to give meaning to it, make that your truth. And like I said before, if we're all given like our own little set of, I was using astrology as an example. It doesn't have to be, I just love astrology. So like to me, I'm like, well, this is what I was given. This is the lens of how I see the world and what I was given. I'm really, I have all these negative qualities and I have all these positive qualities. There are positive qualities about a Scorpio. Like I said, I just couldn't think of any. I'm thinking of all these things and they're all negative. It's like natural detective, human lie detector. God, these are all like pretty negative connotations. Loyal. We're really loyal. We're really fair. We're really just. Maybe not fair. We're just. Very passionate about what we believe in. So, if I'm given all these qualities, or just whatever, you just have your own personality, and that's how, you don't have to put it through the lens of astrology. You're given that, and like, you're free to choose what's true for you based on how you were created. So for me, like, if I am really loyal, then maybe I can create or through my assumption, create the reality that everybody's really loyal. And that like all my friendships are like, whatever. Everybody's loyal back, and I have like these really great, deep, meaningful relationships. That's another thing. Like Scorpios love like depth and I want to understand you. I want to see the inside of your soul, and like I want to like drink it. Like that's how I feel about the people I love. Like I want to consume them. Well, I can have those kind of really deep connections with people, because that's like the God-given gifts that I was given. So now I can like go through life with that as my filter and make that true for me. Or in the opposite, because I'm, the negative qualities of Scorpio, right? We're really cautious and what's the word I'm thinking of? Like paranoid. We're paranoid. Well, I can like make assumptions and truth about life with that too, that I might have to overcome. And that's a big life lesson that I'm gonna have to have is if I'm afraid of everything and I think everyone's out to get me, I'm gonna make that my reality, my truth, and then I have to overcome it. Because truth is subjective, which is even hard for me to say, because I want everything to be absolute. We all are humanists, want it to be absolute. So, anyways, I hope that made sense. Because I know sometimes I'm like, I don't know, sometimes it's like the concepts in my brain, they don't always translate into English, I wish I had like a whiteboard holographic from my brain, but we're not in that technology yet. So yeah, I hope you guys you know, found this as interesting as I do and got something out of it. And I hope this helps you guys with your life's purpose and journey and manifesting and, you know, becoming like who you are, who you were meant to be, becoming like the best and highest version of yourself. And I mean that sincerely. I feel like it's all within our reach to have the highest and best available to us, and like our callings are all gonna maybe look different, but they're still all available to us in beautiful, unique ways that we won't always be able to like get there from our willpower, but get there from our connection and our faith and our belief in God, because that's who's doing it. And I know like in the Bible, like, oh, faith and belief and all this, like I know that is, it's a very religious thing to say, like, oh, have faith, have belief in God. But I think there's a different context when it comes to manifesting. It's like I don't have to worry because I understand how this works, and I know God is gonna orchestrate this for me. And I have to let my flesh die and like let it be irritated that it doesn't know the unfolding yet. And, you know, the Bible talks about, you know, dying to your flesh daily and carrying your cross daily, you know, and I think that's all part of our journey to get to the highest versions of ourselves, our Christ consciousness, our, you know, I guess like Jesus embodiment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Jesus in that. That's a whole nother thing, but because he was 100% man, 100% God, but I also feel like so are we. And maybe he just executed it really well. I don't know. But anyways, that's for another day. So yeah, thanks for listening to my ramble. I know I can ramble. And I hope somebody got something out of this. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.